I'm sure TU as an expansion will fix most of the problems, even though poor optimization is bad for them. I'm still enjoying this game a lot. Yeah, so I've thought about that a lot, and I agree with you in a sense that I think that title updates and a Master Rank expansion and all that is going to hammer out and iron out a lot of stuff, and like by the time that stuff gets around, I'm sure I'm going to be very, very happy with where the game like is. By like the end of this base game and then getting in the Master Rank and all that stuff, I'm sure I'm going to be very happy with where Wilds is kind of at like at the peak of its life cycles. But, you know, that being said, this is probably the most I've been like waiting for the game to kind of get into the cycle. Again, I'm not in high rank yet. I really kind of can't fully attest. So I don't want to really kind of put my foot in my mouth. But this is probably the first time where like I'm really like, all right, let's kind of get this game going in peak form. Most of the other Monster Hunter games that I've played, I've been pretty satisfied off the bat. I haven't been this kind of like, yeah, about the base launch since probably base generations, which I didn't really give a crap about base generations. I have like 50 hours in base generations, going to be honest. This is
same.
This is the first one where I'm like, all right, let's get to the title updates. Like, let's kind of bump everything. Is kind of what I'm like. Capcom DRM might be persistent forever. Yeah, I know they have like anti-cheat and like anti-mod stuff, and like anti-piracy. Hopefully they just get fucking Denuvo out. If they have their own thing that's like better than Denuvo, maybe they just get rid of Denuvo. That's probably wishful thinking, but I don't know. You can cross your fingers for it. The only really way to kind of get around Denuvo being a pain in the ass is, I think, just using a virtual machine, which sucks. Yeah, no, I definitely understand why people specifically who are big PC heads are really not impressed with this game. I couldn't fault anybody for that at all. I'm not going to. And, like, even, I feel like the, it's weird, like the story stuff and then what the game kind of marketed itself as, I don't think either of them are particularly incompetently done, but this very much kind of feels like the game is kind of sniffing its own farts a little bit, and is kind of like... When I was in college for game design, a concept that came up a lot was kill your babies, which was, you know, you have an idea that's really, really kind of special to you, and you think it'd be really fun, but it just kind of doesn't work, and you kind of need to face the facts that something needs to be chopped out. So the game marketed itself on being the super duper open, very, very fun. You kind of dip in and dip out, and you go out in the environment, and you hunt a bunch of stuff, which is what I'm really excited for in high rank and what we're going to be doing the bulk of next weekend. Very excited for that, and what we did in the beta indicates that that's going to be a lot of fun. But then you kind of contrast it with this 15 hours or so that the main campaign is going to be, 15 to 20 hours. Is very much not that. It's super duper on rails, to the point where it's incredibly restrictive of what you're doing and actually group hunting, and it's borderline mandating. And like, it's all cool and fine to say that, yeah, dude, you get through the story and then you get to like the main stuff and the open stuff, and that's all good. And sure, that's all well and good. You know, that's true, that's accurate. The stuff in like high rank in the typical Monster Hunter game, that might be some of my favorite Monster Hunter I've ever played. But it is a lot to ask of people to say, oh, you just got to get through the first like 20 hours of the game and then the game starts. That's a lot to ask people. That's more to ask people than I think a game really has any right to. And again, I don't even think it's necessarily like poorly done. The narrative is fine. I think it's competently written. I'm not going to give it a grade past like good, but I think it is good. And, like, the quest structure has been kind of fun, and it hasn't lollygagged a ton. There's a lot less time burning than World had, with some of the expedition breaks off, and lots of kind of, like, kind of gaps in the plot moving that World had, so I think there's a lot better pacing. But the first whole bunch of hours is just not what the game marketed itself as. And the two factors just do not blend. They wanted to do two very different things. They wanted to have a super seamless, very fluid-oriented storyline that has, like, better writing and better characterization, and it flows really well together for the most part. I think it's a little fast in a couple of places. But they also wanted to have this super, like, seamless, open, free hunting type of thing. And someone's precious baby needed to be killed because it's not particularly working. If they really wanted to do this, they either shouldn't have put their more kind of... Honestly, I think the more kind of structured, rigid, and mandated story, I think this needs to never come back. I think it was a really, really bad idea, and it has effectively kind of neutered how low rank works. You know, it's kind of a meme in the community that you skip low rank and you just kind of blow through low rank, and the game has really kind of embraced that meme in a way that they shouldn't have, where like, yeah, you're just trying to kind of power through this opening 20s to get to the core Monster Hunter game, where even though, you know, World has a lot of stuff where it's kind of begging you to do the story and whatnot, World will get the hell out of your way whenever you want it to get the hell out of your way. This game is not. And I think that is a mistake. I think that's a bad idea. It is not what the game was marketed as. I think that was a legitimately poor decision on their part. In World, it gradually shows the new locale and how the story ties to that. In Wilds, it's just, hey, we got to this new location and that's it. I agree with that point, for sure. Removes the anticipation for the locales. I have anticipation to go into them and dive into them, but I really feel like I've just been kind of shown the set dressing for them, I believe. There's places where they do kind of an okay... Like, I feel like by the time I was done with Ajarakan and Uthjuna, I had a pretty good look at the oil well basin. I really don't feel like I've had a good look at the Ice Shard Cliffs yet. I could have done for more of the Scarlet Forest, too. Kind of doesn't...
I feel like I've seen none of the cliffs.
Yeah, neither have I. Which, again, I'm excited. I'll go into the game, and I'll probably play a bunch in there, and hunt a ton of stuff, and have a blast. But the story does not present it particularly well, and that is an issue. I think if they ever want to do kind of like the big seamless thing again, like kind of like this, they have to stop smelling their own farts with the story tremendously. This is really kind of like two different visions that are smashing into one another, and the story presentation, I think, is the one that is far less conducive to Monster Hunter. The big open, again, what we did with the beta, what I remember from the beta and enjoying the beta, the kind of seamlessness and going out in the expeditions and playing around and just fighting monsters and running around, that I think blends pretty well with Monster Hunter. I find that it's a little bit smoke and mirror-y because there's still, you know, like hooking up with like the link environments and stuff like that. So it's still kind of like hopping, questing. It's really kind of like they broke down a wall to put in a mirror or to put in a piece of glass, honestly. It's a little smoke and mirror-y, but it's not horrible. Not at all. But yeah, no, there's definitely a structural clash that is not working, and I very much feel like I am powering through this opening 20 to get to the actual video game that I was marketed for, and I don't think that's a good thing. And again, I don't think either of them are particularly individually crafted badly for what they are separately trying to achieve. The issue is that they're separately trying to achieve them, and one of them is not necessarily what was being marketed for. So that's kind of where I'm at for that. Kind of feels like they knew this game was going to catch the widest audience, so they made the handhold story so the general audience can get what they consider the end. I honestly, yeah, no, I can look at this game and how it works and very much visualize what a lot of the thought processes were, but again, I think it's smashing a lot of thought processes that just did not blend. And again, I don't even think they necessarily did a bad... The only thing where I think they did a really bad job is the PC port optimization. That is the thing that I look at how it works and how it functions, and me not even really knowing PC that much, and like, yeah, you fucked up there. That's the only thing where it looks like they did a legitimately bad job. A lot of this other stuff is idea and mechanical mashings in a way that are not conducive to a full whole. And I am trying to actively plow through one of them so that I can properly get to the one that I want to do. It's taking me about 20 hours, and I think that's a bad thing. Even if I don't hate the story in and of itself, and I don't hate necessarily the story structure and how it works as, like, its own individual thing in a video game, the issues come with the fusing, not within the... Oh, I gotta talk to Olivia. I shouldn't have jumped down. Connor, I appreciate your criticisms about the game. I feel like not everyone is being truthful and only showing the good stuff. Yeah, I think there's a lot of very kind of heatedness. I think there's a lot of people who are very, very disappointed and are really kind of like looking to kind of pick at this thing. And I think there's a lot of people who are genuinely overlooking some issues that with this thing. I mean, you guys know me. I'm gracious, I'm generous, but I'll always try to be honest at the very least. And just try not to either... I try not to glaze and I try not to anti-glaze. I try not to do either of them, personally. I just try to have the best take that I can and then concede if I'm wrong on something. I just want a fun game and I'm having fun, so I'm happy. And you know what, dude? That's fair. Not everybody has to be super analytical about everything. You're having fun, you're having fun. That's perfectly fine. But, you know, I neither want to discredit people who are having a lot of fun, neither do I want to discredit people who have legitimate issues with the game. I try to do neither. I don't try to be hyperbolic either way about glorifying what I think is flawed or really kind of like looking for reasons to not like something. So if you're looking to just have fun and you bought a video game that you're having fun with, I'm not going to hold that against you. Go for it. Plenty of people do that. A lot of people just work a fucking 9 to 5 and want to have fun with a video game. I don't hold that against anybody.
Bro, mood.
There's a lot of people who are hating on this game for some valid reasons, and some who are glazing this game also for some valid reasons, but the reality is more in the middle. That is exactly where I'm at. And I think also some people will hardcore glaze or hardcore hate on it because they're annoyed at the other group of people, so they're looking for other shit to just kind of fling. I think that is just stupid. I don't do that at all. I'm very content and satisfied with the game, and I know it's only uphill from here. It is probably only uphill from here. That is probably true. Yeah. Rova's the best character in this game. Dude, I like the Woodwoods a lot. I like the Ewoks.
I do too.
There's capitalist Ewoks and wizard Ewok. There. My problem is that everybody either acts like this game will end Monster Hunter or that it's Monster Hunter perfected. In my opinion, it's an amazing game that suffers from a lot of simple yet impactful mess-ups. I like how you phrase that a lot, Bastion. I really agree with you.
Rushing elbows the death.
And I'm willing to concede that I'm generous. Here he is, guys. It's Water Leviathan, our water heater Leviathan, our Lord and Savior. Honestly, of all the things to worship and call a god, this is not a bad idea. Also, I just got offensive guard, so I take back all the bad things I said about the game. Shout out to all the patrons, and special shout out to Certified Rajang Hater, Dat Boy Doin Da Ding, Ketz, Lander Moon, Nihilist Chimerax, Peaberry, Psychotic Jester, Shaggy Grizzly, Sir Newt Newt, Stromlin, Call Sign Shadow, I Think I Stole Your Sandwich, Pecco Plush, and Sir SS Jacob. Thank you very much, everyone.